There you go.
There we go.
All right, everything's green.
Everything's green?
Everything's
I've got 5:30, so. This will be the regular call meeting of the Manchester Planning Commission. I see all members present. First item on the agenda is approval of minutes from our October 20th, 2025 meeting. Those were sent out ahead of time. Were there any changes or corrections?
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Okay, we got a motion to approve, which has been seconded. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So those over to our esteemed secretary then. Scheming. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Everyone has the agenda in front of them. Are there any additions or deletions? If not, we need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, next item on the agenda is comments from citizens. This is the time in the meeting when people can make comments on any items of interest to them on the agenda tonight. I will say that we do have two public hearings tonight, and if you're here on one of those, I'll let you speak during the public hearing portion as if you would prefer. So with that said, are there any other comments from anybody in the audience tonight that wants to address the planning commission? Is that?
Yes.
Stand up, tell us your name and.
I'm Jamie Cram,
Okay.
and I live at 1325 Hills Chapel Road, and I'm the adjoining neighbor to 1316, the one that's up tonight for rezoning.
So you're actually here for the special exception, which is on the Board of Zoning Appeals agenda.
That'll be our next meeting.
Which is right after this.
Yeah. So.
Good.
So you'll have another
That's right.
opportunity.
Okay.
You got a little practice in there.
That's right.
That was the
Save it for
practice
save it
run.
for that. That's right.
It is confusing.
Okay, any other? All right, seeing none, we'll move into regular business. First item is preliminary final plat, 2 lots at 41 Francis Court for Sammy Byers, zoned R2. I see Mr. Northcutt stepping up.
Good evening, everyone. I'm actually representing Byers and Mr. Graham on this. I was originally hired to determine this property line through this property, which kind of goes from this point. You can't see the little dots on this image for some reason, but from this pin to this pin was a straight line that went right through this metal building that Mr. Byers had erected on his property. And so Mr. Graham and Mr. Byers were in a court battle for quite some time. I think it was a couple of years or something like that. And anyway, the court finally decided that Mr. Byers would acquire that property through adverse possession. And so the court order was to adjust this property line to take it off of, you know, the line that was going through his building and put it down here closer to the fence that Byers thought was his. So the long and short is this is the exhibit that we have prepared to satisfy the court order and fix the encroachment issue for these two neighbors.
Good.
I can answer any questions y'all have on that.
Brittany, have you had a chance to review?
We have, and on the punch list, you all have 3 items. We recommend approval pending those items. Item number 1 has actually been addressed. I failed to strike it the first time. Item number 2 is that it appears that the concrete driveway for Mr. Graham is intended to be a circle drive there. So we ask that if there's joint access on that, on the Byers property for that, just to depict that on the plat. And then the next item is to ensure any utility service lines that serve one property don't cross the neighboring property. And if so, to either relocate those service lines or provide private utility for some of those changes. Aside from that, we do recommend approval of the plat.
Okay. Adam, do you have any other comments? All right, does anybody have any questions for staff or for Mr. Northcutt? If not, staff's recommending approval, subject to, I guess now, just two punch list items. 2 and 3.
Thank you. I'll make that motion.
Okay, we got a motion to approve, subject to items 2 and 3 on the punch
Second.
list. Mr. Umbarger seconds. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, next item on the agenda is a public hearing for plans of service for 108 acres plus or minus for Howard Development on New Bushy Branch Road, map 76, parcel 59.11. Brittany, you want to talk us through those, and then we'll see if there's any, this is the old McAllister farm.
So previously this year, we heard a plat that subdivided the McAllister home from the remaining acreage, and that is shown here on the tax map. The remaining acreage is vacant property. It has been requested to be annexed by Mr. Howard. I did send plans of service requests to all the departments, and they all submitted a plan of service. I believe those are all in your packets. I'm not sure what order they're in, I apologize. But the school system stated that should this property be developed or resided upon, College Street Elementary would be the zone that elementary age students would attend, and then of course Westwood Middle for that age group. They stated that Westwood Middle School is at capacity with over 500 students, and College Street has limited space for growth, and that they would need 3 years to plan for growth to construct any new schools. Public Works stated they can serve the property as it currently sits. In a sense, planning and zoning is already serving the property due to the property lying in the urban growth boundary. But should there be any construction take place, we will also provide inspection services upon annexation. Police Department stated that they can serve the property with their current staff, effective on the date of annexation. Finance Department will gladly accept the tax dollars. Fire and Rescue stated they can serve the property as is. Upon development, there will of course be additional requirements. Any residents of the property or owners of the property are welcome to obtain a Parks and Recreation membership. Water and Sewer stated that there is a 12-inch water main that runs along Powers Road and that ends across the road near the southwest corner of the property, right about here. And then sewer is not directly available to the property, but there is an 8-inch gravity main that is on the opposite side of New Bushy Branch Road from the property that ends approximately 315 feet southwest of the property. They state the manhole number. And then there's also a sewer line that goes along Wolf Creek at the rear of the property. So sewer is accessible. However, we are still under our self-imposed moratorium, but the property is currently vacant, undeveloped property.
Okay. All right. Is there anybody here in the audience that wants to make a comment to the board on the proposed plans of service for this annexation request?
So this is gonna be brought in with the
Let's
request.
start with your name.
Oh, Bradley Eskew.
Hi, Bradley.
I'm
Thank you.
representing Mr.
Howard.
So this is gonna be requested for R3, and kind of the concept behind that is side garages. We have a subdivision in Tullahoma that's 75-foot lots, and it looks a lot better with side garages. We just think Manchester has too many R4 lots. And you said 3 years for Westwood School?
That is what the school system stated.
This is gonna be like a 10-year project, so it's gonna come in phases of 30 to 40 lots at a time, is the plan. Let's see, I wrote down some notes. So yeah, no R4, and we're asking for R3. there's, might be some R1, there might be some R2 in this same project. And, you know, if we don't get annexation with R3 zoning, we can still leave it in the county and go that route. So that's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
So
Okay.
can you bring it before the board and say, look, if I don't get it zoned R3, I don't want it annexed? Or can you just have to bring it before the board to get it annexed? And how's that work? I'm not served here long. I've kind of forgotten.
So the process that the city currently follows is, we send it with a positive or negative recommendation, with the annexation itself and the zoning. And then it goes before the board, as a resolution to accept the plans of service first, and then a resolution to actually annex the property. And then the zoning goes through as an ordinance, and it has to go before them for 2 readings.
So we don't have the ability to just say, look, we're gonna annex it if we can get it annexed at R3. And if I understood you right, that's what you,
Not necessarily,
Okay.
I'm just stating that it can be developed in the
Okay,
county.
all right.
If the city doesn't want it.
I got you.
And should it not be annexed, or withdrawn, if it were to be developed as a RS1, which is the county zone, the property is within the urban growth boundary, so those subdivision plats would still come before this planning commission.
What size lots can be in a RS1?
RS1 minimum lot size is 0.8 acres. I'm not sure how many.
Yeah, okay.
I think that's
It's
right.
like 35,000.
With fire flow. With fire protection.
Yes, fire protection.
Yeah, 12-inch
we can't
lane, they got
request-
water.
We can't require them to do
Yeah.
sidewalks. And you would be allowed to have non-curved streets, I believe.
One more thing, we have got a traffic study that's in progress right now.
That's good to know.
How's that fall in the city land use map plan?
So our land use plan shows this as medium-density residential, which is perfect for our medium-density residential zone, R3.
Is there anything medium around it?
Yes, as far as the use itself goes,
I mean, today?
so the current zoning map does not have any R3 in the area. It is surrounded by C2 and R1.
It's Bonnaroo.
Bonnaroo's on one side of it.
Yep.
So this
To
is
the
all
south.
Bonnaroo
So, yeah.
property, Bonnaroo property, also Bonnaroo property. It's actually C3, now that I'm thinking about it.
What's the green, what's the green,
The green is R2.
which is low density?
Across-
Yes,
but it's
R2
across
is
the
low
interstate.
density,
Okay.
And it's across the.
So access to the property is off Bushy Branch and Powers?
Bushy Branch. Powers ends right there in front of the property onto New Bushy Branch. This is Powers Road. And this is on New Bushy Branch.
You mentioned something about R1, R2, R3 company. Can you talk about that a little bit more? It was kind of appealing to me, but.
So we're asking for it to be brought in as R3.
Correct, okay.
But that doesn't mean we're gonna have 75-foot lots on all 109 acres. We're saving some room for maybe R1 and R2 lots as well.
I think, to be clear, what I hear you saying is they're not gonna ask for other parts to be rezoned like R1 and R2. It would be just like other subdivisions maybe that have been done in an R4 subdivision, but the lot sizes are more the sizes you would see in an R1 or an R2. They're larger lots. I think's what I'm hearing him.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing him say. It's not gonna be like multi-zones with R1 section, R2 section, R3 section.
But on the larger lots, would they be using R3 setbacks? Or would they walk and talk and look like an R2?
I mean, I think they would be able to
They
use
could-
the
they would have the
R3
option to do-
setbacks. It'd be up to them, I think. But they could use the R3 because it is an R3, even if the lot was larger.
If the project
So
is.
you'd build a really big house.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, about 20,000 square feet, something like that, or whatever.
So-
So that's very similar to a lot of neighborhoods, right? My neighborhood, I think, is R3, even though it's all acre and a half or whatever lots. And so the developer's just keeping his options open to what the market will bear at the time.
So if you're, especially if you're looking at a 10-year project. Plus, when it's engineered and they decide on where to put roads and stuff, they'll know what lots can be more medium density to low density.
And we may be getting a touch ahead onto the next agenda item, I think, because really this agenda item is the plan of services. The next agenda item is the annexation request with the R3 zone.
To clarify, you said that the planning map does show it available for R3?
Yes.
Okay.
So, I'll tell you. So this darker orange is high-density residential, the orange is medium-density residential, and then the yellow is low-density residential, the pink is commercial. So it follows the land use map accordingly, no land use plan amendment would be necessary.
Did any of the plans of service identify any unique challenges associated with this property?
No, water and sewer is always number one for the most part. There's ample water there that ends essentially right at the property. And then sewer lines are essentially surrounding the property. So access is there, however, availability may be
Gotcha.
questionable given the time of development.
Sure, gotcha.
Since this is a plan of service, I'd like to give a big shout out to the Manchester Water and Sewer Department. It looks like they actually sat down and typed out a new page, didn't just reach in the file folder and pull it out. So I appreciate that.
Isn't there a new head?
There is, yeah. Looks like he's doing a good job there.
I guess my question would be on the fire department. They're stating that as it sits right now, they could service it, but if it changes, so am I reading into that if he does start to developing houses, is he saying that he may have to have more men and new fire truck?
I think his, well, let me get to it. I think his idea behind his wording there is should it be developed, hydrants will be required. Because I don't think that there are any hydrants in the area.
It's not a personnel thing.
It's not a personnel or vehicle.
Yeah, so should land be used for something in the future, then there may be other requirements associated with a new proposed land use. So, of course, our fire chief is always asking for more car hydrants to be placed everywhere, so he tries to put that anywhere he can when he has the chance. I don't believe he's referring to staff in that matter.
And how are you with your staff with all the inspections that you have to do? Not to put you on the spot in front of the mayor, but I just would like to know. I mean, it seems like you guys are super busy.
So it kind of goes up and down. I am really thankful to have a stormwater program coordinator now. So that has taken a lot off of my building inspector because he was also doing a lot of erosion control inspections during his building inspections. So she takes care of a lot of those. However, she's very quickly taken on some other projects involving stormwater. And then I only have the one building inspector. So I would like to in the future look for a part-time building inspector or something, or even a hybrid employee of some form. And I have had mild conversations with the mayor about that. As far as currently, we are functioning.
But they're not gonna build 108 houses overnight.
Correct. We have time for planning.
That's why your metrics come in handy. You can see how your workload's increasing.
But it,
I'll just throw that in one more damn time.
Somebody give them a
I'm
pound
proud
back.
of you doing every meeting.
How'd you come up with
So-
108?
So Brittany, we're looking for a recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Alderman to accept the plan of services, or?
yes, so you all will accept and send to the board and all of the positive and negative recommendations to also accept.
I'll make a motion, to send with a positive recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen to accept the plans of service.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Is there any other just to accept or to recommend accepting to the Board of Mayor and Alderman? Is there any other discussion?
We didn't talk about the schools, when he said that College Street is at full capacity. Is this College Street?
Everything's full
They said
capacity.
it's zoned for College Street and College Street has limited space for growth.
They've also, the school board's also purchased property, but I have the assumption they're planning on building a school there. So they're preparing.
What the time frame was of that, I was
Yeah.
aware of that, but I just didn't know why maybe they didn't mention that there.
So in some conversations I've had with Dr. Vaughn, I asked him, I said, what's with the 3 years for growth? Like you put that repeatedly on there. And he said that's how long it would take to plan a school. So we have the property, that's a awesome step in the right direction. But in order to, from planning to construction, he said it would take 3 years.
Okay. Any other discussion? Motion is to send it with a positive recommendation for acceptance. Is, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Very good. All right, so now we have the annexation request. Howard Development requesting annexation and zoning of New Bushy Branch Road, map 76, parcel 59.11, with an R3 zone. So Brittany, you want to just run back through real quick, just for the record, that land use plan, et cetera?
Yeah, so as we discussed, that is consistent with our land use plan. Our land use plan shows medium density residential for that parcel and several surrounding parcels. That is consistent. R3 zone is appropriate for this property. And an R3 zone, minimum lot size is 7,500 square feet. Minimum lot width at building setback is 75 feet. The front setback is 25 feet, the side setback is 10, the rear is 15. Medium density residential also states that they can do duplexes. In order to do a duplex, they have to have 6,000 square foot per family, which means you have to have 12,000 square foot lots for a duplex. They could also do multifamily with a special exception. Special exception comes before you all, or the Board of Zoning Appeals essentially, which is you all. The 6,000 square foot per family would still stick with the multifamily special exception. That is the minimum requirements. They are, of course, welcome to go beyond 7,500 square foot lots, up to an acre or 5 acres, as they have in other developments in the city limits.
Does anybody have any?
We're only voting on everything north of Old Bushy Branch Road, right?
So it is, it's right here, it borders Wolf Creek.
Right.
Goes on here. My
Right, but-
zoning map does not have the updated tax map, but
But it would not
it
include
will
the
not
house.
include the house here. It would just be parcel 59.11. So, yeah, the property as a whole borders the creek.
Is any of it in the flood zone?
It is, there will definitely be some buffers involved. There it goes. Yes. So, the red hashed area is floodway, which you cannot develop in floodway. The other areas are floodplain. Floodplain can be developed in, but the base flood elevation has to be determined. And the structures have to be 1 foot above that base flood elevation. So they could potentially put detention in the area should the buffers allow things of that manner. But yeah, so there's definitely floodplain, hence the creek surrounding the property.
Do you have any sense about how much the 108 acres is shaded?
There's about 75 acres that I believe is not in any kind of flood map.
So 347, okay.
That's just a rough estimate. I can't.
I used to do some really good hunting down there early in the morning.
.71 acres.
Wow.
Give or take.
This is a public website.
You too, Ward, can get on the website.
You too can become an engineer.
You too can
I am
run.
not an engineer, I want to make that very clear to you all.
Mm-hmm.
But I do my best, and I use the tools that are available to me.
Adam, you see any concerns?
No, sir.
Well, it was, for me, it was real appealing to hear that it wouldn't be all R3. Because I just don't think Manchester's ready for that density. But I know it doesn't mean anything, and there's no way we can put conditions on it, but I was really excited to hear that. I was excited to hear side garages too. Let's bring them back.
There you go.
I feel like with significant floodplain surrounding the property, there will definitely be lots in the development that are more than 7,500 square feet. Would you agree?
I would think most likely.
If they push to 10,000, that's R2, right?
Mhm.
I think it's like 15, 10, 75, and 5.
15 is R1.
I think so. So 15 are cut.
Well, there's a lot of large
It's less than a
lots
half
around
acre.
this.
It used to be 20,
For R1?
now it's 15.
That was an acre.
So we would need a recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen to annex the property with the R3 zone is what's been requested by the applicant.
I'll make that recommendation.
I'll second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second to send it to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen with a positive recommendation to annex with an R3 zone. Is there any other discussion? Mark's jumping ahead there. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Very good. All right, next item, number 4, is a public hearing on a land use amendment from map 86, parcel 20, from a high-density residential to a low-density residential. Brittany, you want to walk us through that?
Mark and Kelly, I may need your help just a little bit. So this is more or less results from an annexation that came before us, and we sent to the Board of Mayor and Alderman with a positive recommendation. At the Board of Mayor and Alderman level, the Board of Mayor and Alderman.
And that was with an R4 zone? or what?
Yes, so the applicant originally requested R4, which is our high-density residential zone, or one of them. At the board level, with our positive recommendation, the Board of Mayor and Aldermen passed the plans of service resolution for the annexation, and they passed the annexation resolution itself. Once we got to the first reading of the ordinance of the R4 zone, they tabled it and/or denied it. I can't recall, and I was not able to find the minutes of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. But nonetheless, they did not pass the R4 zone. The Board of Mayor and Aldermen attempted to zone it R2, which is a low-density residential zone. I informed them that they could not do that. Number one, because the owner did not request that zone. Number two, because it did not meet our land use plan. In order for this property to be zoned a low-density zone, the land use plan would have to be amended. So the Board of Mayor and Aldermen sent the request to the Planning Commission to review the land use plan with the amendment of taking this parcel from high-density residential to low-density residential. That was done in October, at the October 7th Board of Mayor and Aldermen meeting. I was not able to get it on our October Planning Commission agenda due to public notice reasons. That has to have a 30-day public notice before we discuss any land use plan amendments here at our Planning Commission. So it is on before us now. It was advertised, and so we need to send to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen a positive or negative recommendation for this parcel to be amended from high-density residential to low-density residential.
Was the property owner agree with this?
No, so the property owner does not want the property zoned low-density residential, R2, R3. They requested R4, and that is what they want.
And what is the, remind everyone, what's the purple on the,
So the purple on our land use plan here is high-density residential intended for mobile home use. The darker orange color is high-density residential.
Okay, what is it today?
So this is what our land use plan looks like
Now, what's
today.
the actual
well,
zoning?
it doesn't have
Doesn't have
one
a zone.
because it
No, I
was
mean
in the,
around it.
because it was in the
Okay.
county.
So
No, I
the-
understand. What's all around it, zoned today?
So all of the, I mean, there's a lot of county zone around it, which is RS1,
Okay,
which is our urban growth boundary essentially.
okay.
Yeah. And then this lighter orange color here is R4, which is high-density residential.
Okay.
Pink is, or purple, is commercial. And then the gray is light industrial, and the darker gray is
Heavy
moderate industrial.
So all the property that's not shaded is in the county right now?
Yes.
Well, we did zone, we did it,
So, but
Well,
this parcel.
it's been annexed, but without a zone.
yeah, but it is annexed, it's in
Yeah,
the
so
city.
it's currently in the city, without a zone. The house that is on the property currently, is actually, has always been in the city limits, but it was just the house lot, and it is already R4.
So part of the property is already in R4, and the
Yes.
zoning plan map states it to be R4.
High
For high
density.
density
For high
Which
density
is
residential.
R4, yes.
So let me understand here. So this property owner requested annexation for R4. And can the city actually annex it when it's not upon his request to be an R4?
He requested it to be annexed,
So the
and we
annexation
annexed it.
comes prior to the zoning.
We can't zone it until it's annexed.
I thought it had to be annexed with a zone
No,
attached to
it's a
it.
three-step process.
Okay.
You approve the plan services, you approve the annexation, and then you approve the zone.
And our municipal code does state that we have to zone annexed property within 120 days, which at this point is not going to happen for this property, just because of due process. But we are where we are, so all we can do is move forward. We have to send a recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen regardless.
So we have to vote on the recommendation that the board sent back, right?
So the zoning that was requested did not need a land use plan amendment. The zoning that the board suggested
Does.
does need a land use plan amendment.
So do we have to vote on that?
You all have to vote on this suggested land use plan amendment
From the board.
from the board.
We have to send it back with either a negative or a positive recommendation.
That's correct.
Negative meaning it would stay
Or
R4 as requested, positive meaning it could change to some other low-density,
Yes, so
Or
low density
R2,
residential
yeah,
would be R1 or R2.
2, right.
If we did anything other than R4, we'd have to do a land use plan. We have to change the land use plan.
That's correct.
Now,
we're-
go ahead.
If we're outside the municipal code, I mean, can we take this vote?
We outside the 120 days?
We are not currently
Yeah.
outside the 120 days, but after due process from us sending our recommendation to the board, because an ordinance, a zoning ordinance takes 2 readings, a land use plan amendment takes 2 readings, that puts us into January and/or February. But as far as the planning commission is concerned, we are doing our job right now.
Is there anything the planning commission did that's not appropriate, and that's why the BOMA decided to re-annex it, to zone it something else?
To my knowledge, no.
Okay.
And what I was gonna say, before we get in with more discussion, I wanna have as much as everybody wants to have. Since this is a public hearing, I'm gonna ask real quick too, if there's anybody in the audience that was here to speak or wanted to speak on this agenda item that's in front of the board right now. Okay? You'll tell us your name and,
Jeffrey Jackson, I'm representing Carl Properties.
okay?
So yes, we did ask to have it annexed as R4. There are actually already apartments right here and right here. So it would not be detrimental to the, community at all in that factor. I believe our biggest, there is a landowner here who does not want to look over into an apartment complex, and that is what has kind of been driving some of the decisions at BOMA and here at the Planning Commission, is my understanding. So outside of that, there's really nothing that we're aware of that should kick this out of R4.
So let me just stop you right there, okay? You said that you didn't want to look over into an apartment complex. We're not here to tell you what you can build. We don't know if you're gonna build an apartment complex or chicken coops, okay? We're not voting on that. We're voting on whether or not we wanna put a designation of R4 on that piece of property.
Right.
So,
Which is high
so
density.
what, apartments are just, it's not necessary to know that, for us to know that right now. I mean, you'll do a final plan, bring it to us, and we'll vote on the final plan when we get ready, right?
Yes. Any kind of development would have to come before us.
Yeah.
Well, I apologize if I used the wrong words. What I should have said is there's already
Well, I just didn't want,
high-density housing right there.
I didn't want
next to it.
everybody here thinking that they're gonna build 4 acres or 14 acres of apartments, you know?
Okay.
In theory, it could be zoned R4 and somebody could just put one house on it and not do anything else, right? Or it could be apartments, or it could be houses with 15,000 square foot lots. It could be anything. R4 just sets the minimum, and it could meet the minimum.
Yes, yes. So, well, thank y'all for your time. Do y'all have any questions from the developer?
I didn't mean to jump on you, okay?
All I was trying to point out is there is already, not just zone, but there's active high-density housing in the vicinity.
Proximity. Thank you.
I guess my question would be, if it doesn't get approved to R4, are you still gonna move forward, or would you retract your request for annexation?
We would definitely consider retracting. I don't know if that's a possibility since the resolution has passed. We would have to get with legal counsel on that, but if it does not go through as R4, that would be one of the things that we would like to consider.
Yep. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Okay, yes, ma'am?
I just want to remind everyone that there were issues with this other than, schools. We talked about the sewer and that sort of thing. And I'm sorry, I didn't get the notice. There was no notice in the yard or anything like that, or anything.
For the land use plan amendment, it's a notice that's posted in the newspaper.
So I didn't really come as prepared tonight, but I think there was a lot more to just, a landowner not wanting to look across. Honestly, Oakdale Street right there, the whole entire street is a pretty narrow street. Sidewalks are going in now, thank you. But it's still, there's a lot of children traveling up and down. There's a lot of traffic over there, and we're not assuming what's going back there, but high density is high density. So we can assume that there will be a lot of folks back there. I think when we went to the BOMA, it was mentioned something about, potentially doing traffic studies. I think Alderman French actually said something to the effect of, it would just be nice to know what's, not that it's required, but it'd be nice to know what's going back there, because once it's approved, it doesn't go back in front of BOMA, and that was a concern of theirs as well. So just some of the highlights of that. There are some apartments over here and over here, and of course there's some being built somewhere, maybe back in here as well, and that is, driving that every single day, there's a ton of traffic, a lot of traffic to get in and out of, and some of these side streets are absolutely being flooded with just traffic in the morning and in the evening coming home. So I think there is a lot more to consider than just, you know, landowners. And going back to the municipal code, my right as a landowner, you know, I've lived here for 16 years. The developer bought this property and plans to develop it and sell, probably sell it. Well, my right in municipal code is to also, you know, not infringe upon what I have and what I have lived there. And I surround this property on two sides. So put yourself in my shoes as well. I'm looking out for this community. I live, work here. So something to think about as well.
And I know you've spoken before, but just for the
Amanda
record.
Montez, sorry.
Yes, there you go. Okay, thank you very much. All right, any other comments? Okay, Mr. Northcutt?
I'm also representing the Curls on this. And we are asking that you would pass this back to the BOMA with a negative recommendation for changing the plans for the following reasons, some of which I'm echoing. But there is already a part of this in R4. It's already in the city limits. They were, and you know, like what Mr. Messick said, they were annexed in according to the proposed land use plan, and they have been left in limbo ever since that time. But it has been proven that the plan of services can serve this property. And, you know, in terms of the infrastructure and whatnot, you know, the developer is aware that there is going to be some infrastructure beyond this property that they will be required to do. To Ms. Montez's point, you know, the area south of Elm through here is not adequate, you know, for two-way traffic right now. And, you know, the developers are aware that they will probably have to bring all that up to current city standards. They're also aware that they're going to have to coordinate with Manchester Water and Sewer to see, you know, if and when they will be able to get their water and sewer service. So these are all things, you know, and to the point about the sidewalks. Sidewalks are being built. City schools have purchased additional land for additional schools. You know, I think the infrastructure will catch up to this. But, you know, echoing some other points, yes, there's all kinds of high-density area around this property. And so I was going to ask, has there been anything proposed as to what they intend to change? Are they going to change that entire area's zoning to low density, or are they looking at just trying to change this one parcel, or has anybody seen that yet? Or has there been anything proposed to y'all on that, or would they even do that at this junction?
I don't think so, but I would say at the moment, that's a question I've got, that I was gonna ask in a minute too, of the board. So if you wanna make your comments, and then we'll, for the public hearing part, and then we'll.
Well, it was said to me by one of the BOMA members that I asked after they voted to, you know, they voted to annex, but voted also to deny the R4. And they said, well, it can't all be R4. And is there any way to pull up the land use map again, please, Brittany?
It's actually R5, isn't it, Brittany?
Yep.
Well, yeah, everything around it's R5. But when you look at the total Manchester proposed land use plan, by and large, the vast majority of what you see on the entire plan, if you scroll out even further, it's yellow. Like it's predominantly low density. And you've got four main areas where there's R4. You've got the 41 corridor going through town. You've got some going out 55. There's none going up 53. And then you've got the area around Westwood. So, I mean, they're right. It can't all be R4, but this seems like the area that it could certainly be appropriate. And when you look at the totality of the entire plan, there's not a ton of R4. There's more R1, there's more low density than there is high density. So it does look like a lot of this proposed change is to accommodate one neighbor. And it would be irresponsible, in my opinion, for the city to...
Go back and forth, but I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. But in terms of what the city could stand to gain in terms of tax revenue, you know, we're hoping that you will vote for a negative recommendation in thinking in what would be good for the city as a whole, rather than a couple of neighbors in the neighborhood that just don't want it. And anyway, I can answer any other questions if y'all have.
Okay. Thank you, Nicholas. Appreciate it. Anyone else? Well, you've already had an opportunity, but what is it quick?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, sorry, Amanda Montez again. The first time this came proposed for R4, I think someone said, is there any reason why not to send it through as a positive recommendation? And so I asked the same question tonight, as an R2 recommendation. Is there any reason on the planning commission not to send it with a positive recommendation?
Okay, thank you. All right, so we've heard some public input and input from the original annexation request. Brittany, some of the concerns I've heard addressed, wouldn't many of those have to be dealt with if an actual preliminary plat was presented, construction plans, et cetera? Would that all be part of that? Wouldn't that be part of our process to review any potential development were one proposed for that parcel?
That's correct, yeah.
And then I think what I heard Mr. Northcutt ask, has there been any, you know, it's really not the Board of Mayor and Alderman, I wouldn't think's purpose to propose a specific plan for that property, but has there been anything discussed by the Board of Mayor? Is there some reason the Board of Mayor and Alderman specifically related to that piece of property did not want it to be
Why y'all looking at me?
R4 or?
Get to vote.
Oh, okay.
I do it here, but
Yeah,
there.
okay.
What was the discussion?
Unless it's,
I don't think that there was any, I don't remember there being any specific reason why it was not. It was just the thought on the Board of Mayor and Alderman by some of the aldermen that there's entirely too much R4 around already. So we're gonna make a stand here, and this doesn't need to be R4.
And is that based on any sort of study or just a general?
Just a gut feeling, just a general feeling. That's what I got out of it.
I thought part of their concern was affordable housing too.
I don't know we've ever discussed affordable housing on the board.
Is that right?
I
I
don't
thought
think
that's been
so.
brought up several
Yeah.
times. Okay.
So one of my
Okay, let's flip
questions
this.
goes on, from Cheryl's question, like, if we send it with a positive or negative recommendation, and it's out of the 120 days, what process has to go after that in front of the,
So after we send it, it goes before the Board of Mayor and Alderman for 2 readings. Both the land use plan amendment and the zoning have to pass 2 ordinance readings.
but it could be from that time, that would be out of the 120 days,
So
correct?
the annexation took place October 7th. So 120 days from that is
I think the
January.
question,
January.
I think the
So-
question is, what happens if, at 121 days, what happens?
Legally.
I think he could go get a lawyer and talk and discuss it.
I mean, potentially nothing, but potentially something.
So if the board can come to some conclusion on the first reading, we will do a special call meeting to be inside the time that is.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, so we
Will
gotta
that
get
get
the first
done
hurdle
by
done
20
first. Right.
Yeah. They might be open on Christmas Eve.
Could be.
That for them.
And Brittany, what are the minimum lot requirements I'm trying to remember in the R5 mobile home? Was it smaller, was it just allowed more density, or was it?
I believe R5 and R4 are essentially the same as far as their dimensional requirements go. R5 just allows for mobile
Home
homes,
parks, yeah.
whereas R4 does not.
Gotcha.
And mobile home is defined as essentially a single lot trailer.
And that's what it was before annexation.
It's in our land use
No,
map.
it was,
So No, this is how our land use map looks now,
Oh,
and this is how it, I mean, it has not been amended.
And
But they're
so,
requesting that there be a low-density donut hole. right?
yes, I was going to say, so what color would low density be, the yellow?
Low-density would be yellow, so we
Yeah.
would.
So what the Board of Mayor and Alderman is asking for a recommendation to turn that particular piece, and only that particular piece, yellow.
That is what I understood.
You know, another thing that concerns me is if we go and start amending the city land use map plan and say, well, we don't want any more R4, you just subjectively say you don't want any R4, and you start amending the city land use map plan, then we're back to almost spot zoning, where a developer says, well, I want R4 in the middle of R1, so it's almost like the reverse of the plan. I mean, that doesn't make sense.
So it is similar to the reverse of the plan, I agree with that. But I think in previous times, Attorney Yule had always stated spot zoning is referred to when the overall use is different. So if they wanted to come in and amend the land use plan for this to be industrial, for an industrial use, that's considered spot zoning.
Or
But
commercial or something
as
like
long as it continues with the use of residential, then it's not considered spot zoning. But I do agree that it's the reverse of
Yeah.
what we intended with the land use plan.
Right.
So maybe that's not the right terminology, but the intent.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just wanted to make it clear that this,
it's
it
an
would not
analogy.
be spot zoning.
Right.
It'd really be nice if that property right next to it that has the purple that goes all the way to the road, they put a road in there to serve that whole property. And then that takes away this traffic issue, which seems to be the big issue to me. Safety obviously is a concern of this, of our commission. And if, you know, keeping lots of traffic go down this skinny road, but even if they would still have to upgrade this road. They still
Well,
have to
yeah,
upgrade
if
the
you-
existing road.
If somebody was to put trailer parks in all the purple zones around that, then they're still gonna have to, you know, redo the traffic and the roads and
Yeah.
accommodate all that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that will happen.
Yeah. There's a nice little place to put a road connection in right there where that purple goes all the way to the road. And access that whole property. It'd be nice for the city to buy
I
that,
think Ms.
And create
Montez
a
owns
road.
that property.
So Ms. Montez owns
Right.
this.
not that little.
Yeah.
I think she owns that little strip.
Oh, is that right there?
I'm not sure why I did that. But I do think,
No, it's one big piece.
I see, it won't let me click on just that.
I think she bought it.
Let me see what the tax map shows. It's a little bit more up to date typically. So it shows this as an old right-of-way through here. I don't know how true that is, but I do know that Miss Alyssa Fletcher contacted me once upon a time about an old easement that is on this property that is kind of more or less a continuation here. So I don't know how true that is. But I
It used
mean-
to dead end at the concrete place down there.
Okay.
So that Oakdale has been proposed to go through there since 1949. It's on the old subdivision plat that way.
See, before Mark Messick's time.
That's
I
true.
have a feeling you might be the reason she called me.
Just a few years.
But nonetheless, up for discussion is just this parcel and just a land use plan amendment from high-density residential to low-density residential.
So would it be okay if I made a motion now?
Yeah, absolutely, you can make a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we send it back to the board with a negative recommendation.
A second.
Okay? Does everybody understand the motion? So if you vote in favor of the motion, we would be sending it to the Board of Mayor and Alderman with a negative recommendation on changing the land use map from high-density residential to low-density residential. Okay? Everybody clear? Is
Will
there any
the
other-
property then still have no land, no zone designation?
Not until the board addresses and does something.
So that's all this action is
Yeah.
to say no to the, okay.
Land use amendment.
Would they be able to go back to the previous positive
Request.
recommendation that was sent?
For the zoning?
I don't see why not.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
So
think-
do we
it
make a
depends on-
motion?
Before us.
It depends on what the action was at the board level. If the action was that they tabled it, I believe it could be brought up under old business. If the action was that they failed it, an alderman that voted no has to bring it back up.
I don't think we even voted on it, did we? I don't think we did.
I don't think so. Like I said, I couldn't find the minutes.
So do we need to make another motion to send it? We just needed to.
No, I think that,
Okay, I
that
got you.
positive recommendation's already there.
I'm ready.
But I'm saying on the zone original,
Yes.
this is only negative on
The R2.
on the land use amendment
Kind of.
from high density to low density.
We'll just wait to do
So
that.
basically, we're saying we want to, they need to leave it like it is. Okay?
Is it out of line to ask Mr. Jackson what the plans are?
That's not
I don't know that it's,
in the scope of what we're talking about right
Right.
now.
Full disclosure, I have asked
Yeah.
all parties that I know that are involved in this property if they have any kind of preliminary plans, and everybody tells me no. So I feel like they would tell me yes, but nobody said anything to me, so.
all right, is there any other discussion on the motion? All right, all those in favor of sending it back to the Board of Mayor and Alderman with a negative recommendation, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Good. You'll send that back. Thank you very much. All right, let's see, no report from me. Adam, you have anything? No, sir. Brittany, you have anything?
Don't have anything this month.
Okay, let's see, Mayor, do I hear a motion?
Second.
Second, second, third, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. This will be the regular call meeting of the Manchester Board of Zoning Appeals. So here it was, okay. First item of business is approval of minutes from October the 20th. Those were sent out ahead of time. Were there any changes or corrections? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Okay, with a second, Mr. Goodwin. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay?
Mr. Steen?
Yes. All right, next item is approval of the agenda. Were there any changes or corrections? If not, we need a motion.
Motion to
to
approve.
approve. We got a motion.
Second.
Dr. Swanson seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, next item is comments from citizens. So for anyone who has a comment on item of business, there's only one item on here, which was the Hills Chapel Road. So it's your turn. If you would like to step up and tell the board your name, and you'll have a few minutes to make a comment.
As previously stated, I'm Jamie Crim. I am the adjoining neighbor at, I'm at 1325 Hills Chapel. What is up is 1316.
1316 or 1319?
1319, my apologies. Our road is highly trafficked, both with cars, both on foot. There are tons of kids up in there, down all day long. I just hate to see it go to a high-density population. With condos, duplexes coming in, we have duplexes just down the road. That's not as big of a deal. That's not gonna bring in as many, but it is my, request that it not be entered into a high-density population.
Okay. Thank you. I'm going to ask a couple of questions here of Brittany that may, but I thank you for that comment. We'll get to the business and then we'll ask that. All right, so then any other comments?
Would I speak to that now, or when it?
Hang on, yeah, hang on. If Nick, if you're here for it, I'll let you come up as soon as I call the business item. All right, so we're moving into regular business. We have one item, a special exception, 1319 Hills Chapel Road for Rummy Investments, Inc. for a R2 multifamily residential. All right, so Nick, are you here on that?
Yes.
All right, well then, I'll let you jump up and then we'll.
So I'm helping BB out with this one here. But we're not seeking any rezoning.
But as you can see, there's a pretty significant drain that comes through the property, and, you know, the back portion of the property is wooded. And so we are seeking a special exception to be able to do multifamily on this property. And I would like to point out maybe a little difference, maybe to kind of meet in the middle to some of the comments that Ms. Krim was talking about. This will, we're only asking for multifamily on this. So with it being the lower density zone, it's gonna be also subject to lower density multifamily restrictions. We're just hoping to be able to keep what we do on this side of the drain and not have to, you know, I mean, because to Brittany's point earlier, there's gonna be buffers and all kinds of stuff involved in that. So to maximize what they can do with this cleared area in the front, they're hoping to be able to do multifamily with, you know, there again, those R2 densities. So even though it is multifamily, it won't be super high density like it would be in an R4. So anyway, I mean, clearly there's all kinds of condo developments and stuff that's adjacent to that property that would, that this would be complementary to. Hills Chapel Road is an arterial collector. Anything that comes up on that's gonna have to give up for a 60-foot right-of-way. They've got sidewalks coming down that road now. I mean, my grandmother, I grew up on that road. My grandmother's house was just right up the street on Elrod Ridge there. And so, I mean, I've been up and down that road my entire life, and I can see how it's certainly changed over the years. And we, you know, are definitely a proponent for wanting to make sure safety and everything is addressed. But, you know, our clients are wanting to be able to, you know, maximize, get full use of what they can out of this property without having to get ARAP permits and bulldoze the woods. And we think it would be a good fit to be able to do multi in the front and then still leave it undeveloped in the back. So that's why we're seeking the special exception on this.
Okay, thank you. And that was gonna be one of the things I was gonna ask, Ms. Krim, if you knew, and I was gonna ask you, Brittany, that to Mr. Northcutt's point, if it's R2, you still have to have the same amount of square footage per family, whether it was houses or multifamily, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So if as an R2, you could fit how many houses roughly, density-wise?
It's 10,000 square foot per family is what the special exception would allow for. And I mean, just with some super simple math, that comes out to 19 families, which is a lot compared to one, but it's not a lot compared to that of R4.
How big is the property?
4.5 acres.
4.71. Let's say 4.71.
And I see right to the north is Magnolia Glen.
That's correct.
Says, before you get to Magnolia Glen, isn't it?
It's past Magnolia.
Just passed, so there's
Pass.
Depends on where you start.
I don't know, depends on where we start.
This house has a basement in it, is that correct? Like a basement garage? Yeah.
So the total lot size or acreage is 4.5 acres, of which it appears that maybe 2 acres or 1.5 is wooded, and probably is in the floodplain or floodway or whatever.
Not in the floodplain, it's not shown up as that, but I do believe there may be some potential wetlands there.
Wetlands, okay, all right.
Potential,
So-
maybe a blue line or something, so stream determination. There's also a sewer line that cuts through here, I do believe. So there's lots of things that they would have to work around if they went into the woods.
So what they're really asking for is, R2 is 10,000 square foot per lot. This is a special exception. This is a special exception that allows 10,000 square foot per family, right? So what you're saying is, it's still gonna be the same number of houses that could, same number of living units that could be put in there. So it's really not creating more people in there. It's just using the land a little differently.
Yes.
I guess that's sort of what I was trying to make sure that Ms. Krim also understood, that was It wasn't like it was changing, you were asking it to change to R4, which would then drop it to
Yeah.
5,000 feet per family and in effect double then the number of people.
You're not changing the density, you're just changing the arrangement.
Exactly, exactly. And so, Brittany, can you tell us do you have that section of our code that talks about the special exception for multifamily and R2? It's for more than duplexes, it's for,
It's for
Probably
like
for-
a multifamily unit, so townhouses. Townhouses are only allowed to have 8 units per building. So they could do that. They could do duplexes yeah, they could do it a lot of different ways. They could develop it as a PUD, under R2 zone. So this is just kind of giving them a different kind of configuration way to do things. The setbacks remain the same.
okay. Does anybody have questions for Mr. Northcott, for Ms. Krim, or is there anybody else here on this item?
The owners are here, Jeff Thompson.
Okay. Y'all are welcome to say anything if you want to. Okay.
Not that it's a rezoning, but the land use plan does show medium density residential, pretty well the extent of Hills Chapel Road. But again, this is not a rezoning, it's just.
So it would still be, technically still be medium
Yeah, so
density.
the special exception in the R2 zone still classifies it as a low density residential.
Say that again?
The special exception within the R2 zone, which is what they've requested, is still classified as low density.
Because you haven't increased the density of the property. Only to Mr. Johnson's point, the arrangement. That's all. So if we got, anybody have thoughts, comments?
What is the zoning of Magnolia Glen?
R3.
It's R3. Okay.
All right. Any other?
Can you look at the land use map again, just right quick?
Medium density, this is high density, there are currently apartments here.
Hills Chapel.
And then low density toward the end, and then back to medium density at the end. So it's primarily medium density, along.
Gotcha.
It seems like it actually allows, if that rear was not developed with the trees, it actually leaves more of that between that section and the low density to the
Yeah,
east.
buffer
Yeah.
to some degree.
Okay. Adam, you had any thoughts on that? Any thoughts or concerns? Okay. Then, the request is for a special exception, to allow the multifamily in the R2 zone without increasing the density.
I'll
So-
make the motion.
I'm sorry. Go
No.
ahead.
Well, we can make a
You're
motion,
not
we can discuss. If you want to. we
Go
can
ahead. I don't want to discuss, I was wondering if anybody's I was going to make a motion if no one else was going to.
Okay, well, then, Ms.
So,
Swan made
Let
it,
Cheryl make it, yeah.
and then Mr. Messick seconded.
I'll do that.
All right, now, so we've got a motion and a second to grant the special exception. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes. No report from me in this meeting. Adam, you have anything? Brittany?
No, sir.
Okay, let's see. Anybody want to jump in and make the,
I make a motion to adjourn.
there we go. I like it. Take your pick on the second. I think Mr. Umberger said it first. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you all very much. All right. Thank you, David.
We should bring that back and forth and probably do that.
I think